I have a feeling this meeting's gonna take a while, so if I have to stop the podcast, then we'll stop it whenever. Either way, I'm gonna start slowly getting myself ready for this. Okay, sorry. I'll be serious now. So, I would say that one of my pet peeves is how would I explain this without sounding pretentious? To be concise, I don't like people who don't read. And it's not that being illiterate's bad. Like, I'm not gonna fault you if you just never learn how to read. That's different. But if you're American, you at least went to public school, you post things on Facebook, but for some reason, it's so hard for you to read a couple paragraphs, maybe even a page worth of material. I don't understand it, because maybe for me, it's just always been so easy for me to read a large amount of material in such a quick and short amount of time. But it infuriates me knowing when somebody's just like, dude, this is too long, I can't read it. I'm just like, yet you want me to read the articles you post by people who are just as qualified to speak about the topic as I am. So, for an example of why I just don't in general care about the length of a post, I'm just gonna read you a post, and we're just gonna read a couple of my posts. These super epically long posts that just take forever to read. I'll read them for you. This one was posted the other day. I don't see the labels we use for our political foes accurate. We use the terms Nazi and commie, and yet history is more nuanced than our exalted wisdom reminds us. Almost as if many of the things we see as solely a byproduct of one party or the other is instead a state of abusive power any ideology can achieve, including Marxism. 1. What is Marxism, by the way? This is what we're going to be talking about in the course of this post. Marxism is 1. A political philosophy, movement, or regime. 2. It exalts nation and or race above the individual. 3. Stands for a centralized autocratic government. 4. Is headed by a dictatorial leader. 5. Involves severe economic and social regimentation. 6. Forcible suppression of opposition. That is Marxism. Ultimately, to be a fascist, one must have a tendency towards or the actual exercise of strong autocratic or dictatorial control. But what is an autocrat? To be an autocrat, you have to 1. Be a ruler who has absolute power, and 2. You take no account of other people's wishes or opinions. In short, they are those who use their influence or voting appeal to domineer their political or social rivals and rarely seeks to work alongside or share influence with those they disagree with. Reflect again on what being a Marxist means. To be a dictator, you 1. Have to be a ruler with total power or influence over a society or community, or 2. You have or show a tendency to tell people what to do in an autocratic way. Now let us look at 2 more terms. Populism. A political approach that strives to appeal to ordinary people who feel that their concerns are disregarded by the established elite groups. Again, let's look at Marxism. The political, economic, and social principles and policies advocated by Marx, especially 1. A theory and practice of socialism, or 2. A labor theory of value, or 3. Dialectical materialism, 4. The class struggle, 5. Dictatorship of the proletariat until the establishment of a classless society. What is socialism? Any of the various economic and political theories advocating collective or governmental ownership and administration of the means of production and distribution of goods. 1. A system of society or group living in which there is no private property. 2. A system or condition of society in which the means of production are owned and controlled by the state. 3. A state of society in Marxist theory transitional between capitalism and communism and distinguished by unequal distribution of goods and pay according to work done. Nationalism is defined by a sense of national consciousness exalting one nation above others. 1. A movement or government stressing loyalty and devotion to a nation, especially placing primary emphasis on promotion of its culture and interests, as opposed to those of other nations or supranational groups. What does it mean to be totalitarian? Relating to centralized control by an autocratic leader or hierarchy. 1. A political regime based on subordination of the individual to the state and strict control of all aspects of the life and productive capability of the nation, especially by coercive means, such as censorship and terrorism. 2. Advocating or characteristic of exercising autocratic powers. 3. Completely regulated by state, especially as an aid to national mobilization in an emergency. What is social democracy? 1. A political movement advocating the transition from capitalism to socialism by democratic means. 2. The democratic welfare state, incorporating both capitalist and socialist practices. Again, revisit the term socialist. Communism. Communism is defined by the totalitarian system of government in which a single authoritarian party controls state-owned means of production and in which goods are owned in common and are available to all as needed. 1. A doctrine based on revolutionary Marxian socialism and Marxism-Leninism that was the official ideology of the USSR. 2. A final stage of society in Marxist theory in which the state has withered away and the economic goods are distributed equitably. The elimination of private property. In conclusion, being a populist or social democrat in theory matters little. Both sides can become fascists, and whichever party is more willing to wield social control and government reforms to force their rivals to yield will be the victor in ruining the freedom and lifestyles of us all. The endless desire to fight a class war created this damn dynamic in the first place, and though its corruptions that it's through its corruptions that birthed more evils. That needs to be added. Look at the source and tell me Marxism isn't defined by many of the definitions that also define fascism. Most can see as of now how the American left are going to be the more likely to create or justify the rise of a fascist regime, a socialist and race-baiting Marxist utopia without the 1%, right? I am tired of people pointing out history and being labeled fascist by people who only learn about the word from Hollywood or their 4th grade teachers. It's exhausting and frustrating to have and know the facts, but have to change them because stating these facts hurts the beliefs of a few. Own it, America. You all hate fascists, but all of you guys, at least most of the regulars on Facebook posting their political and social views, are in their own, very overt way, fascists. All you need to get it to show is the force you guys to talk to someone you disagree with or point out a view you disagree with. Until you own up to your own biases and fascistic nature, you will never be bipartisan. Every day, you all should be asking yourselves, how would I have been on the wrong side of history if I had lived during those times? Hindsight is not equal to the moral experience and failure. Claiming you would never hurt or demonize a human being to the point wherein they could be attacked or killed is worthless unless you prove it by being someone that fends those you dislike or hate from abuse and disregard. You do not become a fascist to fight fascism, or you were never innocent of being one, only lacking the power and sway to enforce your right. Socialist or traditionalist, it does not matter. Centralized power is not good for the people of this republic. For we all stand, as for the flag that united our dreams and hopes, to the grounding of reality. Through storm and cannon, our banner will stand tall for us. An oath to our Star Spangled Banner. But again, people think that's so much longer. It's only 5 minutes. It's not that long. I don't know. Fudge. Just seems to me like you guys put more time into dumber things. Okay, let's see if I can find another one that's used. Man, I use a lot of links. People say I never link or source my material, and it's like, I'm always linking stuff. I hope that's long. No, that's not long. That's just another quip. I guess I haven't gone on many rants. Well, it's not rants that aren't, like, founded as explanations or summaries or something. Oh, here we go. Nope. Sorry, guys. I thought I had more that I could just straight read off. One of these days, I am going to start just reading the stuff that I've been writing. Screw it. We'll read it. I love it. 4 years worth of hypocrisy and 8 years worth of cover-ups. So close to the open air. And the chaos, unfortunate as it may be, will be widespread should this occur. I wrote this back in May 18th. Jeez, I hate being right. The sum of over 65% of the nation being lied to for years, and the result of 4 generations of social controls being applied to our people just to produce the conditional feelings the majority of us felt for the last few years. Without hope, without direction, without a past, without a promise of a future, we would have accepted and believed any authority. The days of trusting the smiling wolves will soon be gone. The sheep will let loose into the wilderness among the goats, startled as well while they were sleeping, now unable to tell a friend from foe, family from fraud. Will they hear the call of the shepherd? Loud hog will be revealed to be the bleeding sheep used as bait, one of many scapegoats offered to expose the double-armed system of covert governance, a bronze serpent before the grumbling masses. Wolves raised by warmongers, the mages of a new age and doctrine will attempt to strike, yet their power will wane and ebb to nothingness, like the fruits of their agendas. Yet, sacrifices against them require counter-movements. How much you want to bet there were going to be some high-quality bombshells and betrayals soon. Certain people burning others to save face. Sacrifices made to help the nation will be made known, with those living in darkness left in disbelief as to why and how. Those that hurt the nation will be debated and exposed before the host of heaven and earth, with their supporters among the citizens turning on their utopian dream. Those whom secure their influences within secret societies, enforcers and fanatics, will lose their leverage because ultimately they only fight for themselves, and more importantly, their foundational beliefs all create death and decay, mutations and abominations. Schemes will come from the horde. 44 will cry foul, using his claim and blood to bring war to the innocent made foe. 45 cries while in war against the innocent, which should be turned to cheering upon the display of the cult of the ape. Those whom feed off death use it to create their own interpretation of life. False creators and false masters. 2 halves are needed to form the Ouroboros. Death, evil, and chaos, bipartisan, to win and divide mankind. Principalities, people, powers over the fresh blood. A twist to create bodies out of one. Three bundles of three, no matter how you spin it, two ends remain, while one end interlocks the unit, seemingly unstable yet rooted firmly in the strong bond. 8 is the false idol to be exalted. 9 the offering to be slain. The cult of 9 is that contract between man, nation, and universe. One fires lightning and speaks with siren words. His favor is the lust of pride, that pride of life that attracts people to leaders. The trumpets are silent, haphazardly organized, constantly circling the drain of Jericho. Yet time is coming for the shout. Walls will fall between armies and ally. Revelation will level the playing field, not for his sake, but for the price of his health and safety. Dark winters follow a cloudy summer and a cold fall, but a repentant summer and a watchful fall creates a season of light. Odds equal 67 pro, 33 cons. For one to succeed, the spite of those defeated will draw blood in the name of their revolution. Cue the game. Quality, the standard of something as measured against other things of a similar kind. Q, the degree of excellence of something. Where one goes, we go all. Our laughter heard all over hyena calls. Let it be what it must, Godspeed. Let the counter-op begin and the false reporting expose the purposeful neglect that has consumed us all. Hint. The lie begins with the very first paragraph. Oh yeah, that's because I posted something else, so yeah, that's all separate. Okay, I thought that was a side post. But there you go, another one. About 5 minutes long. Not too long. Typical YouTube post transcript. I don't know. I feel like it's not too much to go and read something. More links, more links. He posted lots of links. Lots and lots of links, cause he posted lots of links. Going through links, lots and lots of links. Oh hey, it's a long post, hopefully. No, nope. Are there any links? Does he have some links? He needs lots of links, but he doesn't have the links. Seriously, it's like, I feel like I never have links when I want to make a video. I'm always just kind of swamping through, looking up stuff on the fly, just kind of researching stuff. But then, when I look on Facebook, it's like, oh, hey, it's a treasure trove of links. Maybe I should just do YouTube videos based on my Facebook feed. Ugh. Talking about being lazy. Oh my gosh. How slow is this scroll button? The slowest of scrolls! Unfolding his revelations. Nope. I just love the Arnold Schwarzenegger face. Now, I'm just so happy I found that commercial. A once in a lifetime find, and I just don't even remember how I did it. Whew. April. I was not posting much. I have not been posting as much as I've been thinking. Well, screw it. I'm fine with that. I proved my point. My point's proven. It does not take that much effort to read a long post. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty much done. Alright. I'm gonna reload, drink some tea. And then we'll get back on and yeah, we'll give it a good 2 minutes.